Tyler Childers is on my channel today with his much, I wouldn't say controversial, but much talked about video, which talks about gripping story of gay rural love. And it's a country song, and it's called In Your Love. What's it about? It's an immersive emotional video which follows the love story between two coal miners in the 1950s era rural Appalachia. It's making an impact as a profound statement of allyship at a time when country music's bitter socio-political divides feel as coniferous as ever. The video stars openly gay Hollywood stars Colton Haynes and James Scully as two miners who fall in love, ultimately moving away from working for the coal mine companies to working for themselves as sustenance farmers. Themes of Appalachian life predominate in the video. Though the two men live with the fear of homophobic violence from members of their community, their joy is also represented in scenes where the couple go for romantic picnics, host a dinner party, and spend time working on their land. Eventually, tragedy befalls the couple when one man falls ill with black lung disease, aka coal miners. It's a coal miners disease, a common and often fatal affliction among coal miners themselves. The man dies on his front porch, cradled by his partner, who lives out the rest of his life as a widower, who finds comfort in friendships with animals such as his donkey. Childers collaborated with his fellow Kentuckian author Silas Howes to create In Your Love music video, and who arrived on Thursday, it says, who is the current Poet Laureate of Kentucky, wrote and provided creative direction for the treatment along with his husband, Jason Kyle Howard, and Brian Scallum directed the video. When the video first came out, everybody, House wrote on Instagram, "It was one of the greatest honors of my life to help create it," adding that to our knowledge it is the first ever country music video with a gay storyline to be released by a major label. The magnitude of telling a story of gay Appalachian love was personal to Childers too. In an interview with NPR about the song, he explained that my cousin growing up, who's like my big brother, is gay. As he graduated from North Kentucky, went to Chicago, he never came back, the singer continues. He taught me so much about singing. He was my first tough critic. And just thinking about him not having a music video on CMT, that spoke to him. Since In Your Love release date, many listeners have contrasted it to Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town, which I've given a very in-depth analysis to because there was so much controversy about poor old Jason from the left-wing liberals condemning him and social media all jumping on board, and people, really young people of 16, 17 who haven't got a clue about life giving their opinions, and it became very confusing. And there's an old saying in English, too many cooks spoil the broth, and in this case with Jason's particular single In a Small Town, it was. So I have put a very formidable argument about condemnation for all the people that put that into a box and more or less spat upon the song with venom. And I, in my defensive mood, decided to elaborate on a few points that authors who criticized Jason's single didn't mention. So it will be attached to this. Please check that out. But it continues. The country with this particular star, the country star's polarizing and aggressive new single denounces critics as racist, dog whistling, and a glorification of gun-biased vigilance justice. That was Jason, sorry. Both music videos came out within a few weeks of each other. Both share strong socio-political commentary based around rural and small town life. And boy, do I know that as a gay man. Coming from open-minded England to a small closed town in Ireland, everybody going to church on the Sunday in those days was horrendous for me. I was victimized beyond anybody's wildest imaginations. And I go back home to visit my sister, but it's a small town that has no happy memories other than I visit my sister. But Tyler Childers is a country singer anyway who grew up in Appalachia, and his father worked in the coal mines. Now he uses his platform to amplify queer stories. One Twitter user writes, Jason Aldean is a country singer who grew up in metropolises and went to a private school. Now he uses his platform to be racist, which is not the case. It's a misconception. Do check out my video. It's factual. This is all people talking through their arses who haven't got a clue about life, never had a life, and they just want to throw up on Instagram a few words which really mean nothing. They're meaningless. And Jason said at the time, try that in a small town, and Tyler said, I effing will. Another adds. Now according to one Twitter user, Tyler Childers is a country singer who grew up in Appalachia and his father worked in the coal mines. Now he uses his platform to amplify the queer stories. Congratulations. I think so. And another one, Lost in the Rainbow Coalition. Why can't we have great artists that just don't make things provocative and political and just write and sing good songs? Damn it. But that, you see, is a neutral, standing on the fence attitude. And if somebody like Jason and if somebody like Tyler writes these songs, there's a purpose. And maybe what people are suffering is they just don't like the truth. So it continues. Yet another group of listeners both felt Aldean and Childers have a right to express their opinions, here, in their songs and music videos without backlash. They certainly do. I didn't get offended about Jason Aldean using his platform, one says, to stand for something he believes in. I'm also not offended by Tyler Childers also doing the same thing. The lack of consistency you all possess never ceases to amaze me, one listener writes, which is true in the comments. You know, when you're Orthodox Christian, when you are of a religious group, who gets condemned but us in the LGBT community? And I do feel personal because I just think, how dare you? And it's also, you know, like the myth, it is a myth, that the stories that came out about San Francisco years ago in the AIDS pandemic, everybody propagandized that to what it was worth within an inch of its life. And it's been proven time and time again. It's not gay people that created AIDS and spread AIDS. It was people who used drugs. And many people who are straight use drugs. And I'm talking about the hard drugs. But anyway, the two videos cast two starkly different portrayals of rural life, which they do, and fans continue to pick sides, find a common ground, or submit their own ideas as to what it means to live in a small town. Horrendous in my case when I came from England to Ireland, trust me. Meanwhile, streaming and sales numbers for both Aldean's and Childers songs reflect two starkly opposed concepts, each making a powerful impact. Now, In Your Love had already jumped to number 15 within 24 hours spot on iTunes. I was inside the top 100 on Spotify within 24 hours and Apple Music, according to Hits Daily Double. Its video had amassed at the time, and since multi-millions, 1.2 million YouTube views in its first day online. That number has climbed to over 4.6. As of maybe some days ago now, since I've recorded this, it'll be some weeks ago, the video In Your Love was number 1 on the Apple's musical genre videos chart. Aldean's Try That in a Small Town sat at number 4, and YouTube's music trending page listed that In Your Love video was the number 3 spot. Try That in a Small Town sat at number 5, and the Try That in a Small Town video has now raked up over 26 million views since it was dropped in July, making it the most viewed video on YouTube's top 5 music trending videos. Though at 2 weeks old, it also had more time to be viewed than any of the other videos in the top 5 at the time, and since then as well. Childers, who supported the Black Lives Matter movement and spoke to Abolish's complicated history with racism in the Long Violent History album and grappled with religion in his next project, Can I Take My Hands to Heaven, has always spoken to his audience as someone who grew up rurally, living off the land and immersed in a small Appalachian community. He hasn't commented himself on Aldean's song and music video. However, speaking to NPR, the singer shares some complicated feelings about the expression of small town life in a mainstream country music lyrics and Nashville songwriting industry. Nashville is an extremely necessary town. Everybody's got to meet somewhere, and this is a heck of a meeting place. But there's this hard disconnect, he says. The writers didn't necessarily grow up in rural settings, but not all of them. Some of them, not all. But the nostalgia for that way of life resonates with them in some way. So they're working within these stereotypes of this nostalgic country thing, and that they might not even have any reference point to understand. Childers also says that he hopes In Your Love video make real conversations possible, and perhaps lead some people to cut through the stereotypes they have in their minds about gay love. He concludes this is a story of two people sharing their love and living a life together and experiencing loss. Once you take away the flashcard phrases and like the knee-jerk reactions, how does that make you feel, he says. How are you going to feel when you get those points in your life? And what are you going to need to get through any kind of loss? Are you going to need people to be hateful with you when your partner in the most loved person in your life and world dies and you're alone? Well, we'll discuss that straight after we listen to this particular track. It's supposed to be controversial, but it's my first time seeing it in its entirety. I'll judge the meaning and the lyrics and give you an analysis straight after. Come on.
I will wait for you till the sun turns into ashes and bows down to the moon. I will wait for you. It's a long, hard war, oh, but I can grin and bear it, 'cause I know what the hell I'm fighting for, and I will wait for you. We were never made to run forever. We were just meant to go long enough to find what we were chasing after. I believe I found it here in your love. I will stand my ground. I'm a bad man looking for takers. You're the finest thing around, so I will stand my ground. 'Cause it's cold out there, and you know some men search for ages for the love that I have found, so I will stand my ground. We were never made to run forever. We were just meant to go long enough to find what we were chasing after. I believe I found it here in your love. Honey, I will wait for you. Honey, I will stand my ground. I will work for you till my hands are tired and bleeding. I know what it is from us I'm needing. I will work for you like a team of mules pulling hell off from its hinges. It's a love that I'll keep tending. I will work for you. We were never made to run forever. We were just meant to go long enough to find what we were chasing after. I believe I found it here in your love. Honey, I will wait for you. Honey, I will stand my ground. I will work for you. I will stand my ground.
Wow. Oh my God, it's got an effect. This In Your Love is a romantic love song, whether your people like it or not. About two men, and switch off if you don't want to hear the analysis of the lyrics. About the effort some relationships require to succeed compared to others. And in 2023, to me that's despicable. It's beyond comprehension. But anyway, in its lyrics, Tyler describes the hard work he had to go through for that love. And I'm sure many gay people have an affiliation to that. But he's not clear about it. Will it be worth it? It will be worth it. And when you find the right person, you know it is. The lyrics do not explicitly indicate that In Your Love is about gay love. That's the point I'd like to make. However, the official video directed by the LGBTQ personality Silas House clearly shows two men in love with each other working in the mining industry. As Tyler and Silas explained in the interview with NPR, both their families had a past of working in that business, and the inspiration for the gay love story mainly comes from Tyler's homosexual cousin, as I previously mentioned, an essential presence in the artist's childhood. In Your Love describes a love story that requires hard work, and the lyrics make it clear from the beginning the protagonist has to wait for a long time and hard work until his hands are tired and bleeding. I will wait for you, it says, till the sun turns into ashes and bows down to the moon. I will wait for you. It's a long, hard war. I will work for you till my hands are tired and bleeding. These are the love stories that go on peacefully without considerable effort. And there are others where every day is a struggle. This relationship needs to be fought for, as we saw, which is one of the elements that could make us think about a gay relationship to be defended and protected in society. Why do we, as a gay community, me as part of it as well, have to fight for that? Why? The chorus talks about running together like being chased by somebody, because it says we've never made to run forever. No, nobody is. Why should you run away from other people's prejudicial element to you as a person in your relationship? Why? How dare they? People like that always have their own psychological upsets from their own upbringings. And it's almost like a way of belief is forced down their throats. And they're scared to be gay, or they're scared to go forward and be honest with their sexuality. So they condemn the community that has done this, in my opinion. But we continue with the lyrics. It says, "We were never made to run forever. We were meant to go long enough to find what we were chasing after. I believe I found it here, in your love." And when I met my current partner after a very violent psychopathic narcissist as a previous lover, who's now, I believe, in Canada, I have to say it's a wonderful feeling after all the hurdles I've jumped in life to be the person I am, to find the love that I have in my life that replenishes all the hurt and has healed all the wounds. We deserve it just as much as perceived normal straight people. Tyler Chandler has no intention of giving up though. It's quite obvious his love is strong and he's strongly motivated to fight for it. We can safely assume that the artist believes this love is worth these efforts. But it's not just that. The American singer thinks this battle is right according to his values, personality, and is ready to dedicate his life to it. He's committed to doing what he feels like the only thing is right. Now, there's never been an explanation from the artist himself saying that he is gay. But if I was to perceive and look at him and feel the energy, I believe it's only a matter of time that his lyrics will speak for themselves. And I believe this is the start of what he knows is a personal journey for him to come to that point. So what is my answer? Well, I've already concluded, but I'm not here to influence anyone else. But he is committed to doing what he feels right, because he says, "I'll wait for you, it's a long, hard war. Aye, but I can grin and bear it, because I know what the hell I'm fighting for, and I will wait for you." So is the artist himself waiting for somebody? Is he in that position? Is it that personal? Who knows, and who cares? It's 2023. If it is, and he finds him, and they're happy, long may it be happy. Independently from what kind of love it is, we can assure that the lyrics in your love are about fighting for the person you love. This is my conclusion now. And this is the actual song's meaning. I know it will be hard. I know it will feel like a war every day. And I've been through some wars being the person I am today, everybody. But you are the one I love. And when you find the one you love, nothing else, it's true what they say, nothing else matters. And in my current relationship, nothing else does. It's funny, I fell into this 16-year relationship after a horrendous, nearly 10-year relationship with the most violent person. To get to this point where my current partner has faded all of that away from my memory by healing me with love, adoration, calmity. He's such a calm person compared to me. And he has days where he's agitated, but that's due to work, but never towards his life. Lots of people around him love him. He's sociable, he's outgoing. I used to be like that, but I'm very reclusive now, I have to say. But I chose to be, to protect myself. And my eyes never wander, because I have it all. Roof over my head, food in the cupboard, you in the audience listening to me. I have lots of love. It's a normal life I lead. And those people who say it's not normal need to get a life. I know it will be hard. I know it will feel like a war every day, the lyrics say. But you are the one I love. And my partner knows that. And you are worth a lifelong battle. He knows that too. One day, this is my conclusion for everybody in the same boat. I'm sure we'll all sing these words. All our efforts will be over. And we will be able to enjoy what we always longed for. That is peace of mind, body and spirit. And I'll be the first to say amen to that. Thanks for listening, everybody. Jason's video will be attached to this, and I have a lot to say about that too. Do take a look at it. Take care for now.